This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
Well,
I'm Nakai.
I'm Major Thesk.
I'm the infamous Drakle.
And I'm Nutcase.
And today is our Friendly Friday segment. And before we tell you guys which Halo game to start with, that's our teaser for the video if you didn't catch that. I'm going to let you guys tell everybody about their channel and their creative outlets. So Covenant Canon, you three, why don't you guys start this thing off?
So, Covenant Canon basically covers the Covenant aspect within the Halo universe. It pretty much covers over history, culture, and tons of other things within the Halo universe.
And we like to pride ourselves on giving a bit more of a unique perspective in it. Instead of just reading out the lore, we invent characters and create little side stories to present the lore with various voice actors from the three of us to some guest stars. And yeah.
And overall, it's just all about, from us, perspective. We like to make sure that each time we make one of these videos, it's all about, okay, not everyone's going to have the same opinion on this same issue. Some will enjoy the Covenant, some will not. Some will like this guy, some will not. And we try to spice that up every time.
And definitely, if you guys want to go check them out, I'll have a link in the description below. And also, if I can figure out how to do it correctly, there'll be a card up above here, lowered by Will in our faces, covering our faces probably right now. And you can click that and go right to their channel, subscribe. And then if you also are curious, we also have In A Nutcase at the bottom here. What do you do? What's your creative outlet?
So I am an artist that usually relates to, or most of my art relates to Halo. I've been into Halo for a good amount of years, I would say 3 to 4. And I really just like to talk about lore and create certain things that are around that. I have a main story I'm working on called Halo Privation. It's about this one woman who is on a alien world trying to survive. And then there's other stories I've made, like one about insurrectionist leader, who she's a whole other kind of situation there.
Definitely go check her stuff out too. You can go to twitter.com/in__nutcase or twitter.com/halo_privation. That's HALO_PRIVATION. Definitely go check it out. I recommend both of these creative groups and creator at the bottom. So they're very cool. And that's why they're on the podcast. I wouldn't bring somebody who's uncool on this podcast.
Except for that one time.
I would hope so.
Wait, you brought me.
Does that mean anyone go free on here isn't cool? Yeah,
well,
yes.
or they're too cool for us, I guess. One of those two things is true.
You know who you are.
All right. So just for fun, we're gonna do this topic for Friendly Friday. Friendly Friday is always a fun day. Everybody on this video is going to tell you guys what game, if you were to ask us today, is the game that they would start with it for a Halo series newcomer. So starting this thing off, I'm going to make sure I put a video that I really love in the background here that has all of the Halo games cutscenes in it that hopefully all y'all will go check out. It's my Halo parody for Old Town Road. Sorry.
Delicious.
And I'm going to have Nakai start us off. What game should a newcomer to the Halo series start with?
I think to start off with, I think it's going to be obvious, but Halo Combat Evolve. Since Infinite is pretty much going to take a lot of elements from Combat Evolve into its campaign, most likely from what we're seeing, I think starting off where it all began would definitely help for the newcomers who pretty much don't understand like what a Halo is, who is the Master Chief, and what mysteries Halo really has, and why it's so important in this universe.
And which particular version of Combat Evolved do you recommend?
Anniversary.
Anniversary. Okay. The MCC edition or the Xbox 360 edition?
Yes.
Yes, any of those versions. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much all the versions. The original Anniversary, Xbox 360, and the one in MCC. I think they're all pretty much worthy. They're both worthy inclusions to pretty much get your head sort it into the Halo universe. I think that's a good place to start off with.
Okay. How about you, Mr. Thesk?
Okay, so this is a bit of a tough one for me, as I agree with Nakai overall in that, in terms of probably the feel, like the narrative story and the atmosphere, it's probably going to be closer to CE than anything. But if I'm also trying to keep gameplay in mind, so
Announce your heresy.
I hesitantly say, nah, I'm gonna have to agree. I would have to say CE. To my knowledge, aside from just graphics, I don't think there's too much different between CE and Anniversary, to which I can say, give it a go with the original, like with the graphics at the least, just to kind of, see what started it all, and you can kind of see how it evolves as you play. I would definitely play in chronological order, so CE 2, ODST 3, 4. I completely forgot Reach existed.
I was just about to ask, what about Reach?
I think I would not do chronological order. I would actually save Reach for after the 4 main games. Yes, I include ODST as one of the OT. Just because if you want to feel the spirit of Halo, you can't go wrong with those 3 games.
Yeah.
In terms of gameplay, from what we're seeing, I don't really think any game really fits with all the stuff we've seen. So, to cut long story short, I also would just say go with release order. That's really the only advice I can give.
All right. I appreciate both of those takes. How about you, Drakle?
Oh, my first Halo game, of course, was Halo 2. Like, that was what got me into the franchise, and as much as I want to say, no, go with Halo 2 first, it's a rough start, because you're being dropped in the middle of a story that hasn't fully explained itself. That's why I liked it so much, though, because we saw these weird perspectives. I have to agree with my 2 fellows with the previous statement of Halo C, mainly just because there's just that certain feeling you get with CE that you just, as you play through it, and then it's just rewarding once you move through all the games in order of release. Yes, including Halo 4 and 5. As much as Halo 5, we've all made our jokes. We all know, yeah, Halo 5 is not a great Halo game. It's still a decent game in itself, and it's worth at least one go through.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, you start at the beginning with CE, you get to know who Chief is, you get to know what a Covenant is, what a Halo is, and you get to get that nice feeling as you just step out into that Halo ring.
Absolutely.
And watch it evolve over the games, what it is to truly step onto a Halo ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Though you can start with Halo 2. Go for the wonderful story.
Especially with Keith David's dulcet tones.
Yes, exactly. But yeah. And in terms of gameplay for Halo Infinite, it is a difficult beast to comprehend. My brain's kind of thinking when I look at it, it's a weird mutation of Halo 3, Halo Reach, and Halo 5, all kind of congealed and genetically infused into one another, until it just creates this new creature that is infinite. Yeah, and just, as I say, the best way to start a story is at the beginning.
All right, Miss Nutcase at the bottom, what do you got?
So I do agree with them to an extent. It depends on the kind of person you're dealing with. If you want someone to go right into it and they want to go right into the story, that's a perfect idea. But if you have like a newcomer that doesn't know anything about it and they don't know a lot of the lore and they're just like, they don't even know if they want to get into it, I actually say, like, for me, it was Reach, because it was a story that started and ended in one game, and allowed a lot for me to like, oh, what does this mean? What does that mean? And it allowed me to ask questions, which led me to go into the other games and go into the lore, which is what I love to. Lore is my thing. Reading, yeah. So I think Reach, even though that's kind of controversial, I guess, like it's good.
Oh no.
It's something that I guess is a good thing to start with because you start and end with in the same game.
Yeah, no.
And then when you go into the main story, you're like, ah, shit. Oh my god, there's so much to it. It's a lot more not lighthearted, but there's more not as grim as saying like, oh, these people all died. But I love how Reach is more like has that kind of story. But if someone wants to see a more heroic kind of, well, more like in-depth story, then they can go into the main timeline, like throughout the main stories. My favorite being ODST.
Yeah, Reach is
Oh my
like
God, I can't stop.
Reach is like the Rogue One of the Halo series.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say.
Except done well.
No, for me, like ODST, like come on, like can you not? Can you like little the engineer?
Yes.
Literally, I remember the first time I played that game. I was with my little brother, and I ran out of ammunition when we were having the engineer with us. I was just meleeing all these brutes, killing them. I'm like, "Don't you touch my baby!" And my brother's just so like,
Destroy them.
I was so nuts. But yeah, that's why my friend got me that. I was like, ah.
That's really cool. I didn't even know those were like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, this
Sure,
is custom
Dr.
me. I'm like, how do you pay this for me? He's like, yeah, no. He's like, you're nuts with those things. You'd have it. I'm like, oh no.
That's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
So before I jump into what I think of Halo Infinite's gameplay, one game that I would say, while it is very different, you need to play just so you can kind of get a vibe for it, is Halo Wars 2. Like,
Oh,
even if you're not,
Oh,
even if you're not,
That's another thing you need to give to, because there is a group in Infinite that's otherwise you probably don't even know. Halo Wars 2 will definitely clarify it, and that is the Banished.
And to an extent-
I completely forgot about that.
and to an extent, I do think the kind of feel Halo Wars 2 has is pretty similar to what the vibes I got from the Halo Infinite trailers and what it's probably going to have. You know, it's going to be, it's going to have some great moments, but it's going to be a lot more heroics and a lot more noble bright, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Not to mention, as I said, it explains the Banished and that sort of thing, gives that nice broody aesthetic, that sort of thing. And I know some people in the comments, especially our followers, are going to be like, what about Halo Wars 1 with Reaper Morimi, the Arbiter in that game and all that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to say, to be perfectly blunt, you don't need to play that game to understand Halo Wars 2. Like, you just don't. Like, the only callback is, like, you know, Serena's speech at the beginning, and I think a cutscene that hints at what happened to Forge. But other than that, you don't need to play it. You should play it, but you don't need to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, then would they know about like the Spirit of Fire and how it got there?
Let me be blunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, does anyone really know how it got there? This kind of showed up.
Well, I mean, like why people were like asleep. I'm trying to. Sorry, I said that incorrectly.
No,
Like-
I know
Hey,
what
with-
you meant. I was being nitpicky.
Without
Yeah,
getting
I'm
too
fine. I'm not speaking.
without getting too lore heavy, Will, do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll
with
go first.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
I'm going to agree with Reach. I've actually been in this situation twice now where Reach is not my favorite game, but I've had two people who are new to the Halo series and try to get them into the Halo series, and I started with Reach because, like, within the timeline, that's the first game, and it is self-contained, so if they don't like it, they can stop with one and be relatively satisfied. And then if they, you know, come to the dark side and realize that Halo is amazing, they can go into the one of the greatest trilogy of games, if not the greatest trilogy of games of all time. So I would definitely recommend that one. Also, I like the gameplay in that one because it's a little bit faster. So especially if you're trying to get a younger player into it, they can start with a game that like has assassinations. It is quicker, a little bit more Twitch heavy, and the story will still make sense. Whereas like, you know, like obviously Halo 5 is really quick, but you would have no idea what the heck's going on if you didn't know the story going into it. So I can't recommend starting with that one.
Even if you know the story, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
in it.
I mean, that's totally fair.
I've got a.
I don't,
Are
think
you?
I don't think even the characters understand what's going on. They're just like, we're here, I guess.
Isn't it obvious? Cortana's become every space Napola Hitler.
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys mind if I jump in? I got some completely different take that none of you
Let's
guys
go.
have had yet.
Okay.
Well, I respect
Okay.
everybody else's opinions today. I respect all of them. They're all good
It's all
opinions.
wrong.
Here's the how you get people into the Halo series. This is step 1. Alcohol. Okay? You're gonna get some alcohol. You're gonna go to Dave and Buster's. You're gonna hop on Halo Fireteam Raven. And y'all are gonna just smash some aliens with Fireteam Raven. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes. That's so much fun.
Yes.
Well played. Well.
So I wanted to go
Yeah.
last.
Your cousin with alcohol.
It's a strange
Well, yeah, fair
topic,
enough.
but I'm gonna go with it. It's a
Yes.
strange.
This
Strange
is
moment.
what I want. So if you want your friend who's not into video games to play Halo and they're new to the series, this is the game for you. Take them to Dave and Buster's.
The
but
only
you
problem
don't-
with this though is like walking
can't do it
out of
right
that,
now.
Chris. All I wanted was I wanted the gun for all the other Halo games. So I was like,
Yes.
it sort of taints the rest of them.
But for the newcomer to Halo, never played a Halo game before, take them to Dave and Buster's when you can. Take them to Dave and Buster's if you can, and have them play this game, and they will be hooked, guaranteed. Because this is
I never
super
actually
fast.
played this game, and I'm like, oh.
It's
The only
great.
time I really played this game was when I was at Outpost Discovery with my dad. This was the only time I ever played this game.
Wait, we
and
almost saw
I
one another.
Sorely regret it.
Will and I went to Dave and Buster's and played through this game and got the badges on our Halo Waypoint profiles.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yes, it was.
I remember in our server when one of our subscribers played this game with their friends. They had a bunch of cell phone pics they kept sending to me of Red Elite saying, "Look, we killed you, Major," over and over and over again. because for a while my avatar was
Oh, I
just
gotta
the
remember
H2A
that.
Elite, so
Mm.
whenever anybody killed a Major, they always said, "I killed Thesk."
I'm guilty of that too. I sent him one as well. Just, hey, buddy, guess what?
This is definitely the game though. Like if I had any game in the whole series I could take somebody to and play, this is it. And then after that they're like, what's Halo? All right, let's go. We'll go play Halo C. We'll get a marathon going. Boom.
Was
They're hooked for life.
Well played. Well.
So-
Yeah, if I knew that was it, I was like, ah, shit.
So what do you
Come on,
guys think?
let's
Is
go myself.
anything in the Halo series already going to be similar to Halo Infinite's gameplay?
Hell
To be
no.
honest, I don't really think so. Like-
I would kind of disagree on that. I would say yes and no. Yes, the gameplay will be similar to that of Reach, Halo 4, Halo 5, like the newer things, but
Mhm.
there are going to be newer elements that no one's going to anticipate. But I would say, like, for those who've actually played Halo game, it's gonna feel familiar. But for newcomers, it'll be a different environment, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, the physics I think have changed a little bit, but
Yeah.
overall the gameplay should feel Halo.
Especially when
Yeah.
you start picking up fusion coils and throwing them at things.
Oh, I can't wait.
But
That's
I
gonna be
see
fun.
people talking about the geological formation of those cliffs. I'm like, wait, that's basalt formations. I'm like, oh, it's a geology geek. I was like, no, that's real.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
gonna
don't
be a
think
weird
it'll necessarily
adventure.
play like Halo 1, but I think it's gonna have that feeling of exploration. I really hope that
Yeah.
sense of wonder that we had
Yeah.
at first.
Yeah, that's
But-
kind of my takeaway as well. Like in terms of feeling, of atmosphere, of immersion, it's going to be very similar to like CE and the original trilogy.
Mm.
The thing I'm on though is the gameplay itself. I just from looking at it, because we, of course, none of us have played it.
Right.
Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe one of you holding out on us.
No.
Alright. In terms of gameplay, I think it's definitely going to be more, and cringe all you want, Halo fans. It's definitely going to be more advanced mobility and stuff like that. But just from what we've seen, it doesn't look like it's going to be as twitchy and sweaty as 5 was,
Right.
and it's not going to be as cramped as 4 was.
Let's not talk about sprint.
Sprint, we're not talking about sprint. We're not talking about sprint. If we want to do sprint, we'll do it a different week, and we'll make it the Friendly Friday topic.
Let's not talk about
Don't
that.
talk
And I'll make sure that Luke, for Hidden Xperia, is on here to discuss that with
Oh
us
yeah,
if we
no,
need
so they
to.
can get so mad about it. Yep.
I want to see him get fiery red. That's what I want to see about sprint.
To be fair, it's probably it's probably the newest thing about Halo he's talked about in a while. And I say that more because he himself has been lamenting the lack of Halo content to talk about. Which, I mean, you could always kind of do what we do, actually create content within content. Just saying.
Hey, he's doing
Sorry.
STP now. He is doing STP now.
Sorry, I'm being catty.
Oh, you didn't say.
All right. Does anybody have anything else to say about this topic in regards to Halo Infinite's gameplay and or which game to start with?
No, I think I'm gonna make case clear.
Since this is officially going to be the Friday video, I want to take this time to thank all of you for being here, despite the fact that we have 3 more videos to record.
Yeah.
But you can leave now if you want to.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm out of here. See ya.
All right.
Enjoy Evil Matthew Mercer.
Like the guy stay with me.
Okay, I have to ask, Will, since they just jumped up and did this to us, why did Billy and Timmy walk off on you on that one Skype call?
I don't remember. I'd have to rewatch it.
I was so confused because when I was editing it, they just got up and left on you, and I was like, what is going on here?
They got fed up with me, Chris. Pretty obvious.
Okay, well, as always, I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
And I'm Nakai.
Thesk. I'm Drakle. Arrivederci.
Oh, sorry. I'm not this.
And we will see you
Okay.
all
On next CHRILLCAST. Bye, guys.